Hey guys, welcome to Muscle Memory. My name's Malcolm, and today we're talking to an Impact Wrestling star. He's gonna be wrestling at the Bound for Glory Fallout on October 22nd, in right outside of Chicago, Illinois. It's Alan Angels. How are you, man?
What's going on, man? I'm doing great. Weather's great in Atlanta. Just took a little walk and I'm good, man.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, there's so much going on in your career right now with like Impact Wrestling and everything you're doing in the world of wrestling. This company's been doing so well for so many years. You're on the Impact 1000 show. You won the Ultimate X then, and there's just so much going on with Impact Wrestling currently. When was the first time you were ever exposed to watching TNA or Impact Wrestling?
Oh man, I mean, it had to have been 2006, 2007. Pretty early. I didn't watch the early stuff, but my dad actually worked with AJ Styles' aunt, as weird as that sounds, and she got us free tickets to Bound for Glory in 2007. So we went there. It might have been my first time watching. I'm not too sure. I think I might have watched a few episodes and stuff before then, but my first experience that I remember is going to Bound for Glory. So here we are, 16 years later, and I'm on the Bound for Glory show. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's pretty dope.
That's incredible. What was like your favorite Bound for Glory match, if you can think of one over these past 16 years?
Yeah. I was just thinking about this the other day because I think one of the matches, definitely the Bound for Glory match that I've watched the most over the years is Generation Me versus the Machine Guns from 2010. It was the opener, and I just remember watching it, thinking it was so different from anything I'd ever seen wrestling wise, overall, but also tag team match wise. Because when I was a kid, what I had seen mostly as tag teams was just two top guys being put together and just having, just a normal match. I always just kind of thought they were kind of boring tag team matches. But then seeing the Machine Guns and Generation Me go out there and just have a banger, like a really good match. And again, it was just different from anything that I'd ever seen before. That match really stands out in my mind from all the Bound for Glories that I've watched. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great match. Great selection. Great
Mm-hmm.
selection. And
Yeah,
like looking
yeah.
at like your match is going to be on the Fallout Bound for Glory, taking on Samurai de Soul. How do you expect him to like go into this match against you, and how do you counter that and make sure you get the win?
So yeah, I got to wrestle Samurai a little bit in the Ultimate X match that he was in with me. So I had a little bit of a taste, but I mean, he's a crazy great competitor. He's gonna be a tough one for sure. I think he's gonna have a mindset of this is the he's doing the whole Lucha Libre celebration that night. So I think he's gonna have the crowd behind him quite a bit, but that's never deterred me before from beating someone's ass. So I'm gonna do what I can, and I'm really excited and I'm really looking forward to that match.
For sure. And like looking at like your career, you debuted back in like 2016. And like for some people, like you I think people realize like you've only been wrestling since 2016. Like it's crazy
Yeah.
that your career's only been about like 7 years so far. What have
Yeah.
like you learned from like day one to now? What's been like the biggest like learning lesson for you in your career?
Oh man. I mean, there's so much stuff. I would say probably, and this is kind of what I tell people that are just starting, make sure that you love wrestling, and not just the activity of it,
Yeah.
because that's kind of the easy part, right? Of course you love that, but you have to love all of it, and you have to always stay motivated, and you're not always going to be happy. You're not always going to be satisfied with what's going on and maybe in your career or in your life or whatever. But as long as that passion is still there for wrestling, you're always going to have something to keep you going. You know what I mean? I love learning new things and becoming a better wrestler. And when I go back and, or not, I don't really, I watch most of my matches, but I don't like watching them just because I really just watch them for the learning aspect, but it's really the feeling that you get when you're out there. I got great advice kind of recently in saying that when you come back from the back, if it was good or not. You know what I mean? And a lot of times what will happen is you'll go back and you'll have what you thought was a really good match, and you'll go back and watch it and hate it. It also works the opposite way. You'll hate a match when you have it, and then you'll go back and watch it and think it was great.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think that's my biggest thing that I've learned is just to like take it one day at a time and make sure that you love it, make sure you're passionate about it. Otherwise, what are you doing it for, you know?
For sure. And I feel like a lot of fans are starting to get like this real like understanding of you as like an individual wrestler, now seeing you Impact Wrestling. You
Yeah.
signed last year. What's been like the journey so far in Impact Wrestling? How much have you enjoyed being in this company and just like your overall goals with this company?
Oh, I love it, dude. It's awesome. The locker room is great. I feel like it's a real team effort. I feel like everybody in the locker room looks at it as an overall show, an overall product, and what they know is their role on that show or, you know, just the card in general. So I think that's really cool. Um, Sorry, what was the question?
Like what's like your goals in Impact
Oh, my
Wrestling?
goals. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, and it's been great because now for the first time I get to be a singles guy on a bigger platform. I've pretty much been in groups my whole, you know, what's basically been what everybody's seen from me. The mainstream stuff that I've done, I've been in a group the whole time. Now I get a chance to go out there and do it by myself. I am the act. You know, when you're in a group, you can kind of rely on other people and it's kind of an all-around team effort where now I am the act and I'm very grateful that I get to do that because that's kind of what I think everybody has in mind when they start wrestling. They want to be a singles guy and they want to do it by themselves, and I'm finally getting to do that on a bigger stage and I'm super grateful for that. And now I get to chase after what was kind of always my favorite title as a kid, which is the X Division Championship. Just wrestled Chris Sabin, lost unfortunately, but I will definitely be watching him and Kenta very closely, and hopefully 2024 holds that X Division title for me.
For sure. If you could make like a Mount Rushmore of like X Division champions, who would you put on that kind of list? Obviously, there's so many great names of Samoa
Yeah.
Joe, AJ Styles, and whatnot. Who's on
Yeah.
yours?
I think those two definitely. I think Samoa Joe and AJ has to go on there. And then probably I think you have to put Saban up there because he is the 10-time champ now. And then also, I think four would probably go to Christopher Daniels, who I've recently started using his finishing move. So hopefully he doesn't get too hot about it. But yeah, I think that's the four right there.
For sure. A lot of people like watch Impact Wrestling obviously every single week, and some people like know about it because they're time watching in TNA. Why should fans continuously tune in to watch Impact Wrestling every week?
I think Impact is kind of the underdog in the pro wrestling world right now, but like I personally think it's like the best weekly show. I don't think anybody's doing what Impact is doing right now. I think we have our own unique brand, and I think we like are at its core like pro wrestling. You know what I mean? It's like our product is kind of what I think of when I think of pro wrestling. It has over the top crazy characters. It has insane wrestling. I think it has a little bit of everything for everybody. You know what I mean? And I think the stories that we tell and the storylines that Impact has are some of the most compelling stories that, not a lot of people think about. I think we have some of the best storytelling and writers that wrestling has to offer right now. And yeah, we are that underdog, but I think we definitely bring something to the table that you won't see anywhere else for sure.
For sure. I mean, as we wrap this up, a lot of people obviously know you from your time in other companies and now joining Impact Wrestling. People seeing you as like a solid high flyer and criminally underrated. How would you describe Alan Angels like as like an outside looking in of your career so far?
I think Alan Angels is, he's a wrestler and all, but I think more than anything, he's just the guy that's kind of bitter about the industry. And I think he thinks that he's the best wrestler ever. And if anybody wants to tell him otherwise, then that's when he gets pissed off about it. He's a little bit of a asshole, I guess you could say. But in his head, it's all warranted because he has been looked down upon in the previous groups that he's been in, and now he has that chip on his shoulder, and that's kind of that driving force behind Alan Angels is that chip on his shoulder, and that he's always kind of been the bottom guy in the groups that he's been in, and now he has the chance to shine on his own. So
whenever you eventually reach that goal, becoming an X Division champion, is that going to be like the big crowning moment? Like, what's like is there a wider goal after that, or is X Division championship like the number one thing on your mind?
It's definitely the number one thing on my mind right now. Once we get there, we'll see where it goes from there. It's kind of one of those things where I've come to learn this from a lot of friends that I have in the wrestling business, that you're never really satisfied. You get to one of these amazing goals, and then that's the thing about pro wrestling, right? There's always the next thing. You always got to stay relevant, and you always got to keep making money. So yeah, I would definitely be looking for what's next, but right now I'm just looking at that X Division championship for sure.
I think it's going to happen real soon. Alan, thank you for your time today. Where can they find you on social media if they're not already following you?
I am at Alan_V_Angels, because I never got rid of the V out of my name, on Twitter and Instagram. So yeah.
There it is. Alan Angels, thank you so much for your time. Guys, you can watch Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory and the Fallout on FITE TV October 21st and 22nd, right outside of Chicago. My name's Malcolm. This is Muscle Memory, and we're out.
Going up like 1,000. I'ma flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. We going up like 1,000. I'ma flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. When it just like 1, 2, 3. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze.